The way an avoidant person experiences and expresses love is often very different from what most people expect. They usually do not show affection through constant reassurance, intense pursuit, or dramatic emotional displays. They may not say, "I love you" easily. They may not chase when they miss you. They may not openly reveal their feelings because their first instinct is often to protect themselves. This is what makes loving an avoidant person so confusing. Their words and actions can seem like they are telling two different stories. They may ask for space while still caring deeply. They may create distance while secretly fearing losing the connection. They may avoid emotional conversations while carrying feelings they do not know how to express. Many people misunderstand avoidant love because they search for the wrong signs. They look for daily messages, constant attention, obvious affection, and visible commitment. They believe love should always look like pursuit and closeness. But for an avoidant person who is still controlled by fear and emotional defenses, love often appears in quieter and less obvious ways. An avoidant who truly loves you may not contact you every day. They may not chase when you step back. They may not make dramatic romantic gestures. Instead, their feelings are often revealed through the moments when their emotional walls begin to weaken. There is one kind of proof that cannot easily be created or faked. It is not found only in their words. It is not found in temporary actions meant to impress you. It appears in the moments when their defenses fail and the walls they have built for years begin to crack specifically around you. When an avoidant develops genuine feelings, something changes. The person who usually hides, controls, and protects their emotions starts revealing parts of themselves they normally keep hidden. The strongest sign that an avoidant truly loves you is that they allow you to see the vulnerable side of them that they hide from others. Avoidant people often build their identity around independence and self-reliance. They learn to handle problems alone. They hide their fears. They minimize their needs. They convince themselves they do not need anyone too much because emotional dependence feels unsafe. For many avoidant people, this protection becomes a lifestyle. They become skilled at appearing calm when they are overwhelmed, confident when they are insecure, and unaffected when something deeply hurts them. But when an avoidant truly loves someone, maintaining that emotional armor becomes much harder. Small moments begin appearing where you see the person beneath the defenses. They may admit they are struggling when they normally keep everything inside. They may share fears they have never told others. They may allow themselves to cry in front of you. They may ask for support even though they are used to handling everything alone. Their vulnerability may appear in simple ways. They may admit they missed you. They may share painful memories from their past. They may talk about experiences they usually avoid. They may allow you to see them when they feel uncertain, weak, or imperfect. The form of vulnerability matters less than the meaning behind it. The important question is not whether they are vulnerable with everyone. The question is whether they become vulnerable with you in a way they do not with others. If an avoidant opens up easily with everyone, vulnerability alone does not prove deep feelings. But if you are one of the few people allowed to see their fears, emotions, and hidden struggles, it reveals that you have reached a part of them that others cannot access. It means the connection has created enough emotional safety for their defenses to lower. An avoidant usually does not reveal their deepest emotions because it feels easy. They do it because the connection becomes more important than their fear of being seen. They care enough about you that hiding from you becomes harder than opening up. Another sign that an avoidant truly loves you is that their fear becomes connected to how much you matter. Many people assume an avoidant's distance means they do not care. They see them pulling away and believe the feelings are not strong enough. But sometimes the opposite is true. Avoidant fear often becomes strongest in relationships that actually matter. When they do not feel deeply connected, there is less risk. They can stay relaxed because the relationship does not challenge their independence. They can appear more open because there is nothing serious enough to trigger their defenses. But when someone becomes truly important, everything changes. The possibility of losing that person becomes real. The possibility of being hurt becomes real. The possibility of depending emotionally on someone becomes real. That is when their protective patterns activate. They may need space after a deep conversation. They may pull back after a beautiful moment of closeness. They may become uncertain when the relationship starts feeling serious. This can be painful, But it often happens because the connection has reached a level where their old defenses are being challenged. Their fear is not always proof that they feel nothing. Sometimes it is proof that they feel more than they know how to handle. This does not mean unhealthy behavior should be ignored. Fear does not excuse hurting someone, but understanding where the fear comes from helps you recognize that avoidance and lack of love are not always the same thing. Sometimes the person who runs the hardest is running because the connection has touched something deeply important inside them. Another sign of genuine love is that they keep returning despite their fear. When an avoidant connection is shallow, leaving is easier. They can walk away, stay detached, and move on without feeling a strong pull back. But when they truly love someone, staying away becomes much harder. They may create distance. They may disappear for a while. They may convince themselves leaving is the right choice, but eventually something pulls them back. They reach out again. They find reasons to reconnect. They look for ways to be part of your life again. Their fear tells them to stay away, but their feelings continue pulling them closer. Every time they return, they are choosing the connection over emotional distance. They are facing something they usually avoid. An avoidant does not usually struggle this way with someone who means nothing to them. The internal battle exists because the relationship has emotional importance. Another major sign is that they make you an exception to the rules they normally follow. Avoidant people often have strong boundaries around relationships. They may have rules about needing space, keeping emotions private, avoiding dependence, and protecting their independence. These rules help them feel safe. But when they genuinely love someone, those rules can begin changing. They may share personal things they normally hide. They may introduce you to important parts of their life. They may make time for you when they usually protect their independence. They may discuss the future, even though future conversations make them uncomfortable. They may accept emotional closeness they usually avoid. They may compromise in ways they never expected. These changes matter because avoidant people usually do not abandon their protective habits without a reason. If they bend their own rules for you, it often means their feelings are strong enough to challenge the defenses they built. The final proof is that they begin fighting their own patterns. A person who truly loves you does not only feel emotions internally. Over time, they begin recognizing the behaviors that damage the relationship and try to change them. They may still struggle with communication, closeness, and vulnerability. Their fears do not disappear overnight, but you begin seeing signs of growth. They try to communicate instead of disappearing. They explain their need for space instead of shutting down. They make an effort to understand your emotions instead of avoiding them. They begin doing the emotional work they once avoided. And that effort matters because change is difficult for someone who has spent years protecting themselves. When an avoidant challenges their own patterns for the sake of the relationship, it shows that you are not just someone they enjoy being around. You have become someone important enough that they are willing to face parts of themselves they have avoided for years. Real love from an avoidant person is often quiet. It is not always obvious. It does not always appear in the way people expect. Sometimes it is revealed when they open up despite fear, when they return despite wanting to run, when they break their own rules because losing you feels worse than facing their fears. That is where genuine feelings are often found. Not in perfection, not in constant reassurance, but in the moments where someone who fears connection slowly chooses connection anyway. Because sometimes the deepest feelings are not shown by how easily someone comes closer. Sometimes they are revealed by how hard they fight themselves to stay. When an avoidant truly loves you, one of the clearest signs is that they begin fighting against the very patterns that once controlled them. An avoidant person is often aware that their behavior can damage relationships. They know they create distance when emotions become intense. They know they sometimes disappear instead of communicating. They know vulnerability feels uncomfortable, and they know they can push people away when things start becoming serious. With people they do not feel deeply connected to, they usually do not try to change these patterns. If fear causes the relationship to fail, they often accept it and move forward. They may feel some sadness, but they do not feel a strong enough reason to challenge themselves. But when an avoidant genuinely loves someone, something shifts. For the first time, Staying the same starts hurting more than changing. They begin making efforts they would not make for someone who does not truly matter to them. They may seek therapy to understand their attachment patterns. They may read about emotional connection and relationships. They may try to understand why they react the way they do, because they want to become better for the person they love. They may push themselves to communicate, even when their instinct tells them to withdraw. They may stay during difficult conversations instead of shutting down. They may express feelings they normally hide. They may practice vulnerability, even though opening up feels frightening. They may ask what you need emotionally and genuinely try to provide it, even when it forces them outside the comfort zone they have protected for years. This effort will not always look perfect. An avoidant person does not suddenly become completely secure overnight. They may still struggle. They may still fall into old habits. They may still have moments where fear takes over and they create distance. But the difference is that they are making an effort. They are no longer accepting their patterns as something they cannot change. They are challenging themselves because losing the relationship feels more painful than facing their fears. That effort is meaningful because avoidant people usually do not do deep emotional work for connections they do not value. They only confront their inner struggles when someone becomes important enough that the pain of losing them becomes greater than the discomfort of growing. Their willingness to change shows that you matter. They are choosing the relationship over the safety of staying emotionally closed. Another powerful sign that an avoidant genuinely loves you is when their actions begin contradicting their own words. Avoidant people often say things based on fear rather than their true emotions. Their words are sometimes controlled by their protective side. They may say they do not want a relationship. They may say they do not need anyone. They may say commitment is not for them or that they are not capable of deep love. These statements often come from the part of them that wants to stay protected. But their actions can reveal something completely different. They may say they do not want anything serious, yet they continue making time for you. They may say they want to keep things casual, yet they involve you in important parts of their life. They may claim they do not depend on anyone, yet they come to you when they need comfort or support. They may say they are not attached, yet they notice when you become distant. They may say they do not care, yet their behavior shows concern, attention, and emotional investment. This contradiction matters because words can be controlled by fear, pride, and self-protection. Actions are harder to hide. When an avoidant develops real feelings, they often behave like someone who deeply cares, even while trying to convince themselves that they do not. Their words may create distance, but their choices reveal attachment. The important thing is not to focus on one single moment. Look at the pattern over time. If their consistent behavior shows care, effort, and emotional involvement, while their words continue creating walls, their actions may be revealing feelings they struggle to admit. Their words may represent their defenses. Their actions often represent their emotions. Another sign of genuine love from an avoidant is that they experience jealousy or possessiveness, even when they try to deny it. Many avoidant people strongly identify with independence. They want to believe they are unaffected, detached, and comfortable without needing anyone. They may convince themselves that jealousy is unnecessary because jealousy means caring deeply, and caring deeply means becoming vulnerable. But when they truly love someone, those emotions can appear despite their attempts to suppress them. They may ask about other people in your life while pretending they are only curious. They may become quieter when you mention someone else showing interest in you. They may seem uncomfortable when they feel they could lose your attention. They might make subtle comments about someone who likes you. They might suddenly become more attentive when they sense another person could take their place. If you ask directly whether they are jealous, they may deny it. They may say they do not care. They may insist they were simply asking questions. But their reactions often reveal something deeper. An avoidant usually does not experience this kind of emotional response towards someone who means nothing to them. Jealousy appears because the connection has become important. The possibility of losing you creates feelings they cannot fully control. Another subtle sign that an avoidant loves you is that they remember small details about your life. Avoidant people are sometimes misunderstood as emotionally disconnected because they do not always express affection openly. But when they truly care, their attention often appears in quiet ways. They remember things you mentioned casually. They remember your favorite food. They remember stories from your childhood. They remember important events without needing reminders. They remember how you like your coffee, what makes you uncomfortable, the dreams you want to achieve, and the details about your family or past that you shared with them. This happens because emotionally meaningful information stays with them. People remember what matters to them. When an avoidant remembers the small details of your world, it shows that you occupy space in their thoughts, even when they struggle to express their feelings. The proof is not just remembering something simple. The proof is in the details. Remembering your birthday is thoughtful, but remembering what you were feeling during that time shows deeper attention. Remembering your favorite thing is nice, but remembering why it matters to you shows emotional connection. Those details reveal that they are listening, observing, and emotionally involved. Another sign that an avoidant genuinely loves you is that the idea of you being with someone else creates a reaction they cannot easily hide. An avoidant may tell you that they want you to be happy. They may say you deserve someone who can give you everything you need. They may even suggest that you should find someone else if they cannot provide the relationship you want. Sometimes these words sound mature and selfless, but sometimes they are also a way of protecting themselves from the fear of not being enough. Because when the possibility of truly losing you becomes real, their emotions often reveal the truth. They may become quiet when you mention someone new. They may avoid the conversation. They may suddenly pull away because they do not know how to process what they feel. They may struggle with the thought of you building a future with someone else. They may have convinced themselves they could let you go. But when faced with actually losing you, they realize the attachment is much stronger than they admitted. For an avoidant person, love is often revealed in the moments when their defenses cannot completely hide what they feel. It appears when they try to leave but find themselves coming back. It appears when they try to stay detached but continue caring. It appears when they tell themselves they do not need you but still create space for you in their life. Because genuine love is not always shown through perfect words or effortless closeness. Sometimes it is shown through the internal battle someone is willing to fight because deep down, they know losing you would hurt more than facing themselves. When an avoidant truly loves you, one sign is that they struggle with the idea of losing you to someone else. They may say they want you to be happy. They may tell you that you deserve someone who can give you what they cannot. They may even encourage you to move on because they believe they are not enough. But sometimes those words come from fear, not a lack of feelings. When the possibility of losing you becomes real, their reactions often reveal what they try to hide. They may become quieter when you mention someone new. They may seem uncomfortable when another person shows interest in you. They may become more attentive without admitting they feel threatened. They may deny jealousy while still struggling with the thought of someone else taking their place. This happens because one part of them wants independence and emotional distance, while another part fears losing someone who has become deeply meaningful. An avoidant usually does not react this way towards someone they do not truly care about. With casual connections, they can walk away easily. But when real feelings exist, losing that person creates emotions they cannot completely control. Another sign of genuine love is that they seek you during difficult moments. Avoidant people often cope by withdrawing. They handle problems alone, avoid asking for support, and keep their struggles private. But when they truly love you, you can become the exception. They may reach out when they feel overwhelmed. They may want your presence when they are stressed, hurt, or emotionally exhausted. They may not directly say they need you, but they find reasons to talk, spend time together, or be close to you. This reveals that you have become a source of safety and comfort for them. Their instinct may tell them to isolate, but their attachment to you becomes stronger than that instinct. This is why actions often reveal more than words. An avoidant can hide feelings, control what they say, and avoid expressing love because vulnerability feels risky. But they cannot always control the moments when their defenses break. They cannot always control who they open up to, who they return to, or who they struggle to let go of. These moments reveal what exists beneath the emotional walls. However, An avoidant loving you does not automatically mean they are capable of giving you a healthy relationship. Love and capability are different. Someone can have deep feelings while still struggling with communication, consistency, commitment, and emotional availability. The deeper question is not only, do they love me? It is, can they express that love in a way that creates a stable and healthy relationship? A loving avoidant who wants to grow may reflect on their patterns, improve communication, seek help, and challenge their fear of vulnerability. But some people feel love and still avoid the work required to build something lasting. That is why love alone is not enough. A strong relationship requires effort, trust, emotional safety, and two people willing to grow together. An avoidant who opens up with you, returns despite fear, makes you an exception, fights their patterns, struggles with losing you, and seeks you during difficult times may genuinely love you. But that does not always mean they can give you the partnership you deserve. Two things can be true at the same time. An avoidant person can truly love you, and they can still be unable to love you in the way you need. Your responsibility is not only to understand their feelings, but also to honor your own needs and boundaries. Because love matters, but love that cannot be expressed, protected, and transformed into a healthy partnership may not be enough. The real question is not simply whether they love you. The real question is whether their love inspires the growth needed to build something lasting.